So, my person, first thing, maybe I'm a copy and I'm a cancer. There were so many WhatsApp groups, so many social media groups. Now, yeah, group will know a dance. That dance on is sorry, transformation, sorry. And who was on the it's okay, it's good. You believe in three things. You believe in you will normally experience it. So physical senses say you need. You are so you know. Physical senses that there are few things you can see. You see, I can say you can see me, I can see you. The other cannot see because we are actually operating on the physical realm. So it is not very difficult for anyone to see me as I speak, or difficult for anyone to hear what I'm saying. But you know very well, says I want that demo now when you were down for being another one pass up. Nani pano air so dia. Say, Adianchi, I'm an kind of also Diana Dona. A bad day so bills anybody in the house die. You'll be in the same room with the person might be dreaming, but you'll be next to the person. You don't see every guy making a chasing the panel will dream, would the panic can come. You are very close by, you are not hearing whatever is happening. Two people said, I don't know what you want there, that experience now. Because platform now, sad and cost no get a physical platform, software platform. And it will be or no also the diet because they are different platform, anything that own your side experience. Samson Ebase, Nyango boss on your side. And I'm more able to be to a bear, no, say a bit in a relating. Now you're telling me no, I found for and also a spiritual. Your three dimensions of life, your physical living, metaphysical living, and then spiritual living. So, a very civilized human being should be able to balance all these three-dimensional life so that you can be called a civilized human being. You should have an idea of physical life, obedidi, obeda, obenom, all those things are physical. Then how you should be able to use your mind. How are we to make the wide, I don't know me, now what media project one can say to your own future. Then when it comes to dealing with the Almighty. So this is what transformation is all about. Your boy say it to me as soon as there. Now we don't live our lives like ordinary animals. See, let me tell you one thing. Many a times the human being thinks that we are so advanced. We think we are so intelligent that we can do things. But let's try to analyze these things. So what tenacity do you know? All that we do now revolves around only four things. All the things we are doing, the struggle, everything revolves around only four things. First thing is eating. Everybody's thinking about how you be able to eat, how I made. So when it comes to eating, you should not forget that all the other lower species of life, animals, they also eat. The only difference is that we will go to the kitchen and prepare our food, maybe with some salt, with some pepper and some spices. The animals don't do that. But at the end of the day, the act of eating is found in the human life, and then it is found in the animal species. The second thing is sleeping. You sleep. Maybe you sleep in a very wonderful apartment with air conditioning, with many wonderful things in the room. It's sleeping. The animals sleep on the street. The essence of the whole thing is sleeping. The third thing is that we try to defend ourselves. So if you go to any advanced country, they have powerful weapons. We know what is happening between Russia and Ukraine. They have to defend themselves. On our personal basis, in our houses, maybe we have some walls, we have security gates, maybe we have some weapon in the room. We want to defend ourselves. The animals do the same thing. Look at the birds. They are very smart. As soon as you want to attack them, they fly. That's the art of defense. You see the tiger, the cat, the lion, the dog, They have the claws and then the cannibal teeth to protect themselves. At the end of the day, it's just defense. The last thing is sex life. The human being engaged in sex life, yes, you have to spend so much money, get wedding, spend so many things, buy things like buy champagne, so many things just to influence the woman. At the end of the day, it's sex. The animals are doing that on the street. So what I'm saying is that life revolves around these four things: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And the animals are doing it far better than how we can do it as humans. So the human being have developed consciousness, developed intelligence to inquire into the existence of life. The only difference between the human being and the animal is the human being is able to inquire. So if you're a human being and you don't make inquiries, you sit down and eat, defend, have sex, and then sleep, that means that you are not different from the animals. So all scriptures encourages us to inquire. Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where will I go from here? Every human being should be asking these questions. If you don't ask these questions, then there's a problem with you. Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where will I go from here? These are very important questions that every human being must ask. Because when you begin to find out of your existence, where you came from, there are many answers that will come up. And that will be able to help you to engineer your own life. And then if you know why you are here, you will understand the do's and the don'ts. And now, when you are very much aware that from here there's another place you will go, you will try to live right, because whatever will happen to you, whatever you do will be the justification for where you will be destined in your next life. So transformation, all that we do is to guide ourselves, to direct ourselves, so that we will understand who we are. Because if you misplace your identity, you will eventually misplace your priorities. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what you have to do. If you are a dog, but you don't know you're a dog and you think you're a monkey, you'll be looking for banana. Right? Yes, if you are a dog and you don't know you're a dog or you feel you're a monkey, you'll be looking for banana. So it means that your identity is very important. If a woman doesn't know she's a woman and she thinks that he's a man, you will never make any plans of buying pad and all that. If you know you're a woman and you're getting close to your man, you know that, okay, within this period now I might have my menstrual cycle, so let me arrange. So when you're even going out, you have some pad in your bag in case of any emergency, you can, care for yourself. But if you're a woman, you think you're a man, you don't make an arrangement, so you go out there and you go and embarrass yourself. What I'm trying to say is that you need to know your identity. It's very important. So knowing that you are a soul, you are a human being, then you know what are the do's and the don'ts. It is very important. So knowing identity is so important. So in transformation, we try to help you to understand some basic things. Those of you that have joined us for some time now, we use your date of birth, your name, to be able to tell you some of the things you need to know, especially about your destiny, your star. All those information will guide you so that gradually you will understand who you are, and that knowledge will help you to conduct yourself or to engineer yourself properly, so that in the future when we leave this world, we will have a better place to go. If anybody tells you that death is the end of everything, tell the person he's a liar. Death is never the end of everything. Likewise, birth is never the beginning of life. Before you came to this world, you were somewhere. You might not know. And the fact that you don't know doesn't mean that it is not the truth. I've been telling people, why is it that we have different faces, we have different opportunities, different capabilities? Why that? Why? Is there any personality who is behind all this arrangement? And is this personality partial to some people? The answer is no. So why the differences? It's just because that birth is not the beginning of your existence. Many of us, we would have wished to be something else. If you be sincere to yourself, many of us would have wished to be something else. Why is it that we were not created as that something else we would have wished to become? The truth of the matter is, whatever situation you find yourself, you created it from your previous life. There is no two ways about it. And whatever you are doing today, you are creating another future life for yourself. So it is said that to every action, there is opposite and equal reaction. Whatever you do, there will be repercussions, whether you believe it or not. Whatever you do, there will be repercussions. In material existence, the laws are so stringent, they are able to grab, offenders. By the time you'll be able to swerve the law, there are people, they'll be living even in an advanced country like this, they might be dealing with drugs and the government might not even know. But when it comes to material laws, there's no way you can beat material laws. That's why birth, old age, disease, and death is there for everybody. These are material laws. You cannot run away from birth. So all of us in this room, we took birth from our mother's womb. You cannot run away from old age. If you don't die early, you will become old. You can decide to take all the plastic surgery in the world, take all the immunity medication in the world, you will become old because it will get to a point. All your joints will be very weak. You can't even walk. Yes. No matter how rich you are, no matter how nice you eat, if you don't die quick, you become old, you get to a point, even walking becomes a problem. Whatever happened when you were a child will repeat itself when you become an old person. When you were like a year or maybe before a year, you were unable to walk. You have to steal the wheelchair for them to move you around. And when you grow, you become like 90 years, 100 years. You can't walk. You'll be pushed in the wheelchair again. When you were like 6 months, you had no teeth in your mouth. So you were unable to eat heavy food. When you become like 100 or 120 years, you will lose all the teeth. Your digestive system cannot even digest any hard food, so you'll be taking only liquid food. Have you forgotten when you were a kid, you were crawling on the floor like that? You will grow and you begin to crawl. See, life is a cycle. So after birth, there is old age. So old age will be there. And when there's old age, so many sicknesses will come. Then finally, we have to die and leave this material world. So these are arrangement of material nature. These are laws. Somebody is managing these laws. Because what I know is that in this country, you have some laws. The government is the one that's enforcing the law. So there can't be law without an enforcer. And if you sit down and you analyze life, there are some laws in operation. So every day the sun rises in the morning, it's set in the night, whatever it is, the air is blowing. Many things are going on because there are laws in operation. And somebody is behind this law. That somebody you might call any name. You can say any name. But trust me, there is somebody behind the manipulations of the laws of material energy. And that somebody is powerful than you. It's powerful than me. So all that we have to do is surrender to his will. Whether you believe it or not, even the most powerful person, you will sleep. When you sleep, you are so helpless. Have you ever seen your father sleeping before? In the daytime, your father in the house, the big boss, everybody's afraid of him. When he goes to bed and he falls into slumber, he's very helpless. You can even kill him. Once I was talking to a friend. We were talking about this Russia-Ukraine war. So the guy was saying that Putin, the guy is strong, is this, that. I said, see, nobody's strong. He still sleeps. You can decide not to sleep for about 2-3 days, but to get to a point, you'll be forced to sleep. And what happens around you during sleeping, you don't know. So you cannot be the supreme being. So the fact of the matter is, birth, old age, disease and death, these are the 4 main problems of this world, and nobody is able to overcome them. That is to tell you that one day you have to leave. And when you leave here, there are places you have to go. I said this already. There are 3 places each and every one will go, whether you believe it or not. If you're a very simple person, somebody who doesn't care about any living being, all that you care about is yourself. You don't mind the kind of pain you cause people. All that you consider to be right is what will make you feel happy, what will help you to gratify your senses. You don't care about any living human being. That person, you die and you go to hell. We have two different kind of hells. We have hellish condition and we have hellish planet. Some people can be on earth and they'll be going through hellish condition. But when you die and you're very sinful, you'll be sent to a place. That the way we are here in this world on earth, and we have 7 continents. You are in Europe. You have a place demarcation. You can't cross beyond this border. When you're going here, you need visa to go and all that. If you go to those places, there are arrangements like that. So if you're very simple, you will be sent to a place. And that place, some people call hell. Some people call Pataloka, different languages and different names. And that spot is meant for punishment. So that all the bad things you did here, that you thought that you were so smart, nobody could arrest you. You were very, very smart and very cunning. You were able to maneuver through all the laws and nobody arrested you. That place, you will be forced to face the repercussions of your activities. Then the second portion is, if you are a very righteous person, somebody who believes in the laws of nature, you conduct yourself very well, you make sure you don't put people through difficulties, you try as much as possible to act like a human being. You are considered to be righteous, you will be sent to heavens. Heaven is a very wonderful place. And I said there are 2 heavens. We have heavenly condition and heaven planet. So some people can be on earth and they'll be going through heavenly condition. But there's a soul, a place, a space considered to be a heavenly planet, that those who are righteous, who are very religious people, will be sent to the heavens for enjoyment. But don't forget that punishment is meant for rectification. You punish people with the understanding that that punishment will be able to help them to change. So there can't be any punishment without the thinking that this should be able to force this person to change. So hellish planet is meant for punishment, and because punishment is meant for rectification, it cannot be an eternal place. So hell is not eternal. That is the truth. You go there, you suffer. When the time is due, you leave. Same way, heaven is not eternal. So the Bible says heaven and earth shall pass away, because in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Anything that has beginning will definitely have an end. So the heavens too is not eternal. But if one is perfect, that person will go to the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is also a space. Yes, it exists. Many a time human beings are so proud that if it is there, show me. We used to say that at times people will ask you that kind of question. If there's heaven, have you been there before? Can you show me heaven? People ask that kind of question. And I asked them, do you have intelligence? They say yes. Have you ever seen intelligence before? Say no. So the fact that you've never seen your intelligence before doesn't mean you don't possess intelligence. Do you remember when you were in your mother's womb? Who in this room remembers when he was in the mother's womb? For 9 good months you were there, like this. The fact that you don't remember that you lived in the womb, this small thing, for 9 good months, doesn't mean it never happened. When the baby is in the womb, they don't even believe that there's any existence outside the womb. They think that everything is there. You know? So the fact of the matter is that there is a kingdom of God, there is a heaven, there is a hell. These are not myths. These are not myths. Even on this earth, some people can experience the other realms. Just now that we are not dead, some people can experience other realms. Even science is going to many places now. Recently they said we went to Mars. They have been going to places. But here, it is very difficult for you to even imagine that there will be another planet somewhere that even an airspace can go there. But they are doing that. There are many other things that we don't know. Gradually, science is discovering many things. But they might not be able to discover heaven. They might not be able to discover the hellish planet. They might not be able to discover the kingdom of God. Why? Because these places are not material. They are not. So don't allow anybody to deceive you that there's no hell, there is no heaven, there's no kingdom of God. These places exist. And even now, as a human being, you are not there. If you're able to master the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. If you're able to master all these 5 elements, and you're able to master all the 5 senses, And you're able to manipulate this element with the senses. You're able to project out of the body and you can see things. It's not a myth. It's not story. It's reality. Anybody who is able to master all the 5 senses, anybody who is able to master all the 5 elements, and is able to manipulate these elements with the senses together, that person is able to project out of his body, and you can do that with your own will and experience other things. That these things are real. Some are beautiful, some are ugly, some are dangerous. These things are there. Somebody will say, can you show me God? Can you show me God? Say, yes, I can show you God. Why not? Same way, if you want to see covenanting virus, you can't just go anywhere and say, I want to see covenanting virus. You need some qualification to see that, right? And the qualification is that you need a microscope, not just any one, but electronic microscope before you can see an ordinary virus. So if ordinary element like a viral disease, if you want to see the causes, which is the virus, you need a gadget to see that. That gadget will qualify you to see. Else you'll be in this room and you won't see anything. So you're telling me you want to see God and you want to just go and see God? You need a qualification. That qualification is purity of life. So if you can purify yourself, why not you can see God? I tell people like that. If you want to see God, it's possible. But you must be qualified. You want to see a covenanting virus, it's possible. But you need a qualification to do that. You can't just sit down there and do whatever it is. And so for me, I've been looking everywhere. I've not seen any virus. So there's nothing like covenanting virus. People can say that, right? But the truth of the matter is that these things are there, but you need some qualification. How a woman and man meets on the bed, and the semen of the man goes into the womb of the woman, and is able to create a human being like you with bones. It is not very easy for anybody to explain. Science might try, but they cannot explain exactly how small semen is able to get into the womb of a woman, and within 9 months the baby comes out and is crying with eyes, with mouth, with ears. But it's happening. So what I'm saying is that there are many things that goes beyond our understanding, but for the fact that we are unable to understand this doesn't mean they don't exist. So God exists, evil exists, righteousness exists, we also exist, and we need to live a righteous life so that when we die, there will be a better place for us. Thank you very much. I don't know if you have a question or you have a comment or something that you want to say, please, you can ask.
Yeah, Papa, any akasabibre transformations. At this point, I would like, in the midst of us, upon what we just heard from our spiritual father, do anybody have any question? Sunday school, madam, is our son. No, visa. Oh, who does that mean?
For transformations.
We transform ourselves.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Papa, Papa, Daddy.
Thank you.
Hey, Daddy. When did you have General?
The yes, I'm being back.
The beer material, sir. Daddy.
Thank you.
When you had Daddy. Daddy, Papa.
Thank you.
Daddy Bacho. Maybe some of them more. They were children. Maybe some of them.
Sir, I'll take 3 questions as you go, then I'll answer all of them.
Me Bacho. Masem me say. Daddy, I can't see. Or see, before. Say your life in this year. Now you will baby. And I dear be our baby a word so reincarnation. A woman. And I ketuano at the papa obey and I said, Bonnie obey. I ketuano a pa. Daddy, Yana Sancho Magno. Daddy. Oh my Yana, Omuti body. Michelle video bill. Obi actually no could be neutrality. In real papa. Daddy, empty. Neutrality. Maybe the imagine one can instantly not always when I'm catching. Now that they are just a woo bansa. Maybe I'll be walk or before flower bell no. One said, what people unity as soon as one ever. And tia bay, the other woman so any one what you want there now. And I all bell will send it on what you want there. Well, and I when you catch you and daddy. Na say you, na catch you and or papa. Na so bad, Sabby so bad as a deformed person. On the bed in a Saba bed to be so. Daddy, I can hear instant, I can you.
Your question is very profound one. So we will take 3 questions at a time, then I will answer them. So
Mama Yenisa questions are daddy and answer. Questions are not thing. Papa, miss some questions or family and son. They have to ask. Pacho, why not ask him, sir?
Yeah, and then you go to the answer. Please, you mention your name and go for answer question.
Pacho, your family king. Transformation Scandinavia. That Pacho, the question here about OBE, out of body experience. You have to say, Daniel, you only say, you crew Casa and I can't obit me echo out of body experience. Your friend day, Sana de Baby. So, me, I'm me trans and I'm projecting, me astral projection, not me qua, me a bay for, and I'm in a bay for. And no any astral projection or difference baby womb. I say, the DV to one man, a mass a really dear, a BB or Medibako County say a short one. They are also omens. Let me say what's right about who driving them watching the positive and the negative. Now, the person may be sad. And one also much man, radio much. What about Oba Wana? And no, and then one you 2 times. Said, or ye, a born nam from Name Bona, negative and a positive near saying. And or ye better, and also know how does it right? Thank you.
That's it. Hey, Papa, not you pay. Papa, not you. Papa, not listen. Transformation. Papa, you want to come. Hey, Daddy. And then who am I? The photo. I am to send a young one, but we move say one. Oh, you're messy. My question is what they can also can be answered. Better that is not be a yes. The command of the empire. Cassama, Tommy, the servant, you know, your castle. Daddy, Papa Yati has said, all lessons been more flashing, said, mind, and training then begin more. Sadly, and my pine, my taking decisions. Any year, after we are doing when we cross away, maybe, make that, and so I believe my own dead, and a journey meeting, that is say my. May have been in mind. You better dare to me actually a dream. Everyone. When you saw one before creation. Before I go more and young yes. Young Casana. No more Now, why could I the walls and Yaman Casam? Yami Busame. That's it.
Okay, thank you. So I think all the questions are very, very profound ones. Thank you. So my sister, I don't know if you can call her, the lady who is taking care of the kids in the other room, so that I can quickly attend to her question before we go to the other ones. So the question is, on the way a normal city, Quebec Timianka, a DB baby and an institution, so never CA, right? Yes, in fact, a DB and an institution, so ebeba. Na neba mono, a bibantem, a biche. For instance, if you're a farmer and you plant tomatoes, my father is a farmer, so I'm very familiar with crops and all that. Maximum 60 days, you begin to harvest the tomatoes. Okay? If you plant cassava, the bank temporary is 6 months. The friend of means in your bank 6 months. Now, Bob is meant to be ready. By your bank, I say, "Wow, it do 1 year." Would you have 3 months not dry? But would you have cashew 5 years? Huh? Would you have coffee 4 years? Would you have cocoa 3 years to 5 years before what? So, Nina plant a right? But depending on the crop, there's a duration from the planting to the harvest. So that's how our activities are like. Some activities, the result will come here for you to face it. Even like somebody beheading somebody, and the person can face that before death comes. It happens. So it depends on the activity, the intensity of the activity. The nature will decide what time the harvest will be okay. So yes, there will be a corresponding reaction to every activity. But some of the result might come earlier than some. But no matter what, it will come. In fact, if you behead somebody and you happen to also face that in this lifetime, it's the best for you. You as a person, because it will help you not to come and face that in your next life. If you kill somebody and you are not being killed, you have to come back and face that. These are laws. You see, it is not very easy for people to grasp it, but if you are very, very analytical, very observant, you will understand these things are real. Whatever you do, the result will come to you. First, understand this. You cannot decide to commit some heinous deeds and think that, okay, you're gone. No, you will face it. Nature is so smart. Natural law is so stringent that it doesn't make one single mistake. So all of us sitting in this room, whatever situation we find ourselves, we caused it. Nobody caused it for us. We did. But like you said, maybe we should have faced it in our previous life. We didn't face it. So now we have even forgotten about it. For instance, somebody was very sick in the Bible. He was a blind man. According to the Bible story, he was blind from birth. Jesus, according to the Bible story, healed this man. And the guy was so happy because he has never seen in his life. Can you just imagine? Put yourself in this person's shoe. If I say about 35 years, and you have never ever seen in your life, and just in this room, I raise my hand and you begin to see that your mother, your father, you have never seen their face before. You can just imagine in your mind. You will be so happy. So people say, so the disciples asked Jesus that, so this man, no, is it because of the sin he committed? And And now say any mama and any papa born into the money, dear friend. So the question is, the Bible says this man was blind from birth. So why were the disciples thinking that it is the sins of this boy that caused him to be blind? So where did he commit the sin? When did he commit the sin? Because he was born blind. So the disciples of Christ, they knew that some of the things we go through now are because of our past deeds. Okay? So yes, it is not very easy to understand it fully. But if you are very observant and you sit down and you ask questions, you'll understand that whatever it is that you do, the result will come to you. There are people now, they are so good. They are good people. But all the time, people will pay them back in a very bad way. When your papa says, or papa be a nobody. I know many of you go better than a chrome way, a month for one poor move, grow. Obi aba no ni ba bitia obetina tena ofie timi aboana the say ba be duga no kasa very painful, but trust me, say our papa ya na wo ye say your name po na nzuzu aso be ba, it will come to you. And until now, at times many good things happen to us when we don't even deserve them. At times there's something that happens to you, you sit down and it's like, then am I here? So how do we ever be so? At times, some good things happen to you. That oh driver, what to me has some mistake? If you have mistake, you'll be able to count kuno. At our driver, I be making car being in there, but I've been driving there about Copenhagen. The German and over to Granum. Not knowing the second money back. No accident. But will be a mistake in a accident. So at times, you know, there are some normal Bibi to ye ni baby by papa be ye yintia. So at times some bad things happen to us when we know we have not done anything to deserve that. So I'm a good man. I try as much as possible to be a good person. But all the time I encounter difficult situations. Yes, in this lifetime now you're a good person. But do you know who you were in your previous life? Some of the things you did were bad. Now you have been a good person, but you did some bad things. Nature doesn't forget. He will bring it to you. So yes, some of the repercussions will manifest in this life. Some no, but no matter what, it will come one day. That's why it's very advisable that we need to be very careful with what we do. Because whatever you do, even if it takes 1 million years, it will come to you. Yes. Even if it takes 1,000 years, you have to come back and face it. I told you, natural law is very stringent. There's no way anybody can swerve the laws of nature. No. Whatever you are doing now, you should always remember that all the things you are doing will come back to you in the manifold. So be careful not to trample on the feet of other people unnecessarily. Try as much as possible not to be the cause of suffering to many beings, because whatever you do will come back to you. So my dear, it is not very easy. But trust me, natural law is very stringent. It is very sophisticated. But yes, whatever you do, it will come to you. But many a times, we think that it is only the bad things. No. The good things you are doing also will come back to you. So be a good person. Live a good life. Try as much as possible to be a good person, no matter how people treat you. When the result comes, you will enjoy. Like I gave an example of somebody going to the hinterland, say you go to Western region to go and farm cocoa. You go and spend all your youthful days there. After 10 years, you have say about 500 acres of cocoa. And now you decide to come and live in the cities because you are tired now. Every year, they will bring you money. So those living around your hood, those who are not so much conversant with what you did when you were young man, they will be wondering, this man, you are going to money or tobacco. Yes, he doesn't know, say, when you're a young man, you were farming in the hinterland. So whatever we do, the result will come to us. We have to be very careful. Whether good or bad, the result will come. Thank you very much for that question. So it's astral projection, witchcraft. You know, astral projection and witchcraft see different room. You know, but it's very close. It's very unfortunate that in the part of the world where we come from, people see witchcraft as evil. To be if you can know this easy. But witchcraft can get any money. It is an ability. It's a special ability, but unfortunately, there are 5 main qualities. Obibiana or what's else to bind me and no money bino. Unya that gift of witchcraft now. What the buy your money? Obia the bufupa anger, greed, pride, I think selfishness and envy. I have 5. Obibiana. Or what these 5 qualities and unya the ability yes I witchcraft and power the baby money. To be also fompo na obom paye sa na unya do match de fin yanko ponche na was subai we be by better than the bayi. So witchcraft and kasa kenya at the money thing. 34% bayi. Kaya se wa bayi bibi a umtenya. Ntunya pa mi se wo bayi ti ubetimi dia ya de papa. Kaya no kure mu abrofi so many good things they are doing, you know. It is not because of our school, no. A gift. In our own country, Apostle Sappho Kantanka. He has not been to school before, but see what he's doing there. Uncle in school beyond. But when this man did television that you can on with just blowing hair, that time the whites don't even have. His celebration, when you clap your hand, then he goes by. That time they were not having this kind of technology here. He has not been to school before. This man said on the television that when he's doing something and probably get to a point that he's unable to, he will just go and sleep. So in his sleep, everything will be relieved to him. The next morning, he just go and finish it up. That's witchcraft. So witchcraft is not evil. But unfortunately, when we have those 5 qualities, it will tend to be evil. When I went to Germany, one of our members, one of the executive members, she told me some story. She said, a lady in Amsterdam, Holland, this lady was having some terrible sore on the leg. Of course, like I've done all that they could, but it's not going. So I think one of the doctors is somebody who is mystically inclined. So they did their own investigation and they saw that there's a Caribbean African Abertan in chain on the coast stadium. No, sister, that's the country. I won't is here, Amsterdam. So the doctor asked the woman, said, "Are you living with somebody like somebody I own here?" I said, "Yes, he brought somebody from Ghana." He said, "That your leg, you know, is that child in the Echo Stadium?" Yes. This story, I mean, she told me less than 2 weeks ago. When I came on Tuesday. On Wednesday, she came to see me because I was not going to Amsterdam for a program. So she came to see me in Essen. So she was telling me this story. So woman so quickly she made an arrangement and sent a girl back to Ghana. So later all the doctors came together and they came to see the woman in the house. So they asked her, said, "Where is that girl?" The woman said, "I'll send her back." No. You should go and bring her. Now what I'm saying is not my story. Somebody told me. And the person is a member. Go and bring the girl back. Because if she has the ability to cause this pain, we will be able to channel that energy to do something positive.
Wow.
So as I'm speaking, according to this, our member, who's the executive member, the woman was given money, ticket, to go and bring that girl back. And when he came, in Amsterdam, they have witchcraft school. They have enrolled this girl in the witchcraft school. Now, as I'm speaking, see, they know they will be able to maneuver and use that ability. Because see, just imagine that for me coming here, I have to sit in the airplane. You have to go to the airport for 2-3 hours before you fly, and many hours. The witchcraft, they can sit on body within 5 minutes. So the kind of ability they possess, they can do many wonderful things. So as I'm speaking, this girl now make or Amsterdam to see a almost a man run or witchcraft school. So just imagine say, or for about 10 years. Now your good master no more to you. They will do marvelous things. Someone would just say by you school, but I can't be by force. Because we are witchcraft, they don't witchcraft, but the kind of thing they are able to do in the night, if they're able to transfer that into the physical realm, that would be a beautiful thing. So witchcraft is any evil. But I just said, ensure a 12 is rubber in your feet. A man a good cap over to Yan straight away. But I was only money the good or came by now you're contaminated. That's how witchcraft is. The energy is pure, it's clean. But the person who will absorb it, and eventually say, I have the papa and I have the money. But when it comes to astral projection, it is an ability to be able to manipulate, ability to understand the 5 senses, the 5 elemental senses, elemental forces, and then how to manipulate them. So when you are breathing, there's 8 stages from the base of your spine to the crown. I said traffic lights, all the way to the crown. So now when somebody is able to manipulate the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and you're able to control all the 5 senses, now you raise the kundalini from the base of chakra. So when you get to the first point, you stop. So you do turtle breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you raise it. You came to the next one, you stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you push it like that all the way to the 8th joint. Then by your own free will, it's simple, you go. And even if it happens within 5 seconds, you can experience it like 5 months when it comes to Gwenley calculation. 5 seconds, somebody project 5 seconds, you can see things that say, hey, about like 5 months experience. So that is not witchcraft. It's ability to control the 5 senses, the 5 elements, and then how they, relate to each other. That is astral projection. And you do that willingly. But the witches, their own, that they have a camp, they have to go and meet and all that. Astral projection is not like that. Astral projection, when you project out, you only have to go to other places to have experiences there. And even during your projection, you can face difficulties. Yes, there are other beings up there when they see you. When the time is not good, they can attack you and all that. It happens up there. But astral projection is not exactly as witchcraft, but it's very similar. It's very similar. So I think that is what I was saying. And then when it comes to omens, question number 3. Omens. I've told you there are 5 ways nature informs us of the happenings of the future. The first one is through prophecy. The second one is through vision. The third one is through dreams. The fourth one is through omens. And our predictions first. Then the last one is omens. So the omen is at times the part of the body will inform you. I thought I would have I said, I said, why not you try? And I was when you channel, I was obey the saying and cock. Oh, yeah, the saying, because I can't. I said, no, so, Nina, I sign. Oh, move around and wow, move there. Or more being no more in the group. Or more if I'm more in the group, maybe or more shell or more cross left to right. Nina, what they check. So now, question is, maybe I'm one across one pine. Now, can't pour one. What does it mean? So, with the little that I know when it comes to omens, when nature is showing you a sign, and for instance, if you're what it means is that you will try to do things that ever counteract the flow of nature, and that's a very dangerous thing. Yes. Make I say, maybe a chapter when I joined his conference, my master sent me to Tamale to go and say,